So beautiful. So that was the amazing Grayson Nierenberg, and he wrote that song just for this celebration today. The original song. So thank you so much, Grayson. We are going to be graced by his presence and his music further on in today's celebration, and his mother Anna is going to be joining him for our song in the middle of service. So my name is Lori Carlson. I'm a licensed practitioner here at the Center for Spiritual Living Morristown, and I am always honored to be stepping in and speaking for Reverend Frankie, who is away speaking in Princeton today. And I am grateful for all of you that are here in person, for all of you that are watching on the live stream or watching the replay. We are glad you are here. Please use the bubbles, use the buttons, like, share, let us know you're out there, make comments, say hello to each other. We want you to feel like you are part of this community, because you are. So, the theme for this year at Center for Spiritual Living Morristown is Rising Higher, Growing Deeper. And the theme for this month is Radical Interconnections. And the theme for this week is Ripples, the Art of Mindful Living. So when I saw that, we don't always keep to the topic here at CSLM, and Reverend Frank said, oh, you can talk about whatever you want, but when I saw that topic, I was like, oh, that is right up my alley. Mindful living and the ripples we create through our mindful choices. So that's going to be what I'm going to be talking about. We're going to be talking a little bit about how we can shift and change our story and be aware, mindfully aware of the ripples that we create in the world, so that we can be a part of a transformation into creating a world that works for everyone. That's what we want to do here at CSL, right? So first, we are going to start, as we always do, with our Namaste practice. So Namaste is the Sanskrit word for the divinity within me, recognizes and honors the divinity within you. So I just want you to really be mindful, right? We're going to be talking about mindfulness. So I want you to be mindful of what the word means. I want you to be mindful of the intention to give that energy, to see someone, recognize and honor the divinity within them, and to be seen, to be recognized, and to be honored. It's a two-way street. So I don't want you to just go namaste, 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 namaste like that. I mean, which is fine, it's a greeting, but I want you to really be present, to be mindful, to look around, find someone, look in their eyes, and say, the divinity within me recognizes and honors the divinity within you. And then allow yourself to receive it. Don't worry about getting everyone. Everyone will have someone. That's just the way it works. So just find someone and really be present with that energy of recognizing the divinity within each other. The divinity within me recognizes and honors the divinity within me. And the divinity within me the divinity within me recognizes and honors the divinity within me. Does everyone feel seen? Yes. Does everyone feel mindfully aware of their oneness with divinity and the divinity in others? So this is a practice you can do at any time, in any moment, outside in your lives, right? You can just, instead of waving at someone, you can just say namaste, but mindfully remember what it means. Remember what you're saying. Oh, the divinity in me recognizes and honors the divinity in you. So when there's a sense of separation, we can come back to that, right? And we can recognize that in the moment with a simple greeting. Okay, now we're going to start with the spiritual mind treatment, which is our word for affirmative prayer. And what that means is that we are not begging and beseeching to a God outside of ourselves, but we are recognizing that inner divinity. We are recognizing our oneness with Source, and we are affirming or declaring what it is that we want, what it is that we desire, what it is that we are putting out into law. So I invite you, if you are comfortable doing so, to close your eyes and to hear these words as if they were your own. So right here, right now, in this energy of love, I recognize the truth. I recognize the one power and presence, the one divine creative energy that is behind all of life, that exists in, as, and through each one. I know that it flows through me, and as I know this is true for me, I know this is true for each one here, each one watching, and each one in the world. That divinity within me recognizes and honors that divinity. And from this place of oneness, from this place of radical interconnection, we are open to receive the blessings of this celebration, of this talk today. We are open to receive a greater expansion of our consciousness so that we can step forward mindfully into our day, into the world, into our lives as expressions of the love that we are. I affirm that for each one right here, right now. And I know that everything that needs to be heard is heard, that divine spirit flows through me, and that all is well because we are here together. We are here in the presence of love. And we are mindfully present to this moment. And so with deep gratitude and grace, I simply let this word go into that law that does unto us as we believe. And so I let it go gratefully, joyfully, and confidently expectant of it demonstrating in our lives. And so I invite you all to join me in saying, and so it is. All right, I need a sip of something good, sorry. Remember, Frankie always has her water. I have my tea. So, mindful living and the ripples that we create. Anybody here not believe in ripples? We all know that you throw a pebble, Grayson's beautiful song, right? You throw a pebble and it ripples out into the water. Well, we are that in life. We get to be the ripples in consciousness, the ripples in our world. So what we're going to be talking about is bringing mindful awareness to exactly what it is that we want to present and exactly what it is that we do ripple out, right? We can ripple out fear and anxiety and worry and stress, or we can ripple out love, acceptance, compassion, joy, gratitude. And that's always a mindful choice. And how we start to do that is we start to shift our stories. The story that we're telling ourselves about ourselves and about others. So what story are you telling yourself? I know that I lived for a long time in the story of my addiction. I lived for a long time in the story of my victimhood. I lived for a long time in the story of I'll never be good enough. I can't do this. This is overwhelming. There's not enough. All of that. But today I reframe that story. Today I shift that story because it no longer serves me and it doesn't serve the world. And so this is what the spiritual journey is, right? This is what we are doing on a spiritual path. We are reframing the stories that we tell ourselves about ourselves and about others so that we can best show up as love. So that we can best show up as that energy of creative expression that we know is spirit. And how do we do that? Well, it all starts with awareness. That's where the mindfulness comes in. Because if you're not aware of your story, if you're not aware of the inner biases and judgments and limited thinking that are going on in your mind, you have no possibility of changing that. There is no possibility of change without awareness. Because we are often in habitual programming, right? It's like, I hate that. Well, wait a minute. Do I? It's like sometimes that just comes out before I even think about it. I have to pause and think, wait a minute. Do I really think that? Or is that just something I've assimilated from society, from my parents, from teachers, from something else in my past? But with mindfulness, we go, oh, wait a minute. Is that true? if I know the truth, which is that I am a divine spark of the one divine love, and so is everyone else, then all of that negative self-talk can't be true, right? Can't be true that I'm not enough if I'm a spark of the one. If we're all radically interconnected, then no one else can be less than either. I know it's very difficult in this world in which we live to not see things as us versus them, to not see separation and divisiveness all around us. I'm not saying that it's easy. I'm not saying to, ignore all of the issues and the things that we're struggling with. But what I am saying is that you get to choose how you show up. Are you going to show up in that fretting, worry, anxiety, and bring that energy into the world? Or are you going to show up from a place of recognizing that we are all truly sparks of the divine and truly interconnected? And that when we change that story, when we shift just a little bit to recognizing that even that person I disagree with or don't like is a spark of the divine, and look for it. I believe, and I think this teaching teaches, that what you look for, you will find. And that what you look for, you draw forth. So if I am looking for the good in someone, if I am looking for the spark of the divine, even in someone that I totally disagree with, or totally can't find myself at peace with, if I am looking for that, the chances are better that that's what's going to come forth. And so that is what is ours to do as people on a spiritual path, as people in this teaching. It is for us to shift the story we're telling ourselves about everyone, and mostly about ourselves. Because what do we believe in this teaching? As within, so without. It all starts within. It's all about your consciousness. So what is the story you are telling yourself about yourself that reflects in how you deal with others? Reverend Frankie a couple weeks ago said something about what other people think of me is none of my business. And that's a big thing in 12-step program, that people are always saying that. But I was thinking about that, and I was thinking, why is that so hard for us to internalize? Why is it so difficult to let go of caring about what other people think of us? And what I think is that that's because I'm judging them. So I'm assuming that they're judging me, because it's when you're looking at other people that way, then of course you're making that, it's the law of circulation, goes around, comes around, right? If you're seeing out of eyes of judgment and criticism, then you're going to be expected to be judged and criticized. So once again, we start within. We start with how we look out at the world and what we look for and how we choose to see others around us. There's a beautiful, okay, let's find the quote. Where's the page of quotes? Okay, there's a beautiful thing that Thich Nhat Hanh and Reverend Martin Luther King had on a poster during the Vietnam War demonstrations, and it said, "Men are not our enemies. If we kill men, with whom shall we live?" Our enemies instead are anger, resentment, hatred, fear, and discrimination. And I would add prejudice, separation, all these things. That is the enemy. The enemy is how we think about others. The enemy is how they think. The enemy is always in thought. So even the people that are different from us, that we have issues with, they are divine, and they are not the problem. But it is how they represent themselves in the world because of their thinking. It is what they may be doing in the world, but it always comes back to consciousness. And while I can't change what someone else thinks or does, I can change how I view them. I can change what I'm telling myself about it. I can change how I show up in the world so that I can be a greater expression of love. It always comes back to that interconnectedness, radical interconnection, coming back to the oneness coming back to the fact that we believe that love is all there is, that love is inherent in each person, even when it's really hard to see. And I know we live in a world where it's really hard to see that. But we, as practitioners of science of mind, as we are all practitioners, whether licensed or not, we, in New Thought, we get to choose to look for that. We get to choose to look beyond circumstances and conditions and to try to draw forth the good, even in this world in which we live. And we do that by mindfulness because we need to stay present and be aware of what it is that we think, right? Like I said, those biases, those prejudices. Another Thich Nhat Hanh saying, or quote, many of us get swept away by events and situations around us and by whatever we see and hear. So true today, right? We lose ourselves. This is why we must also cultivate freedom from the crowd. When you have real freedom, even if the crowd is shouting or going in one direction, you can still be yourself. You're not swept away by the emotions of the majority. So how swept away are you? Are you staying present to what you believe, to the truth you know? Are you asking yourself questions? Are you investigating what it is that you think, what it is that you hear, what it is that other people tell you, what the news says? Are you being open-minded and being willing to see things from a different place? Are you willing to shape a different story, to reframe things in a way that works for everyone? I mean, look, I know it's difficult, but this is the work, right? We get to do this. We get to ask, what does this reflect in me? What needs to be healed in me? I can't do anything about what's out there, maybe. I mean, sometimes you can make phone calls, you can do, there are things you can do, but really the work starts within. And everything is an opportunity to learn what needs to be healed in me. And we do that with compassion for ourselves and for others, with forgiveness for ourselves and for others, and trying to let go of any sense of judgment, any sense of self-criticism, any sense of separation, because that is what draws us away from our interconnected one. I love this story. There's a Zen story about a man on a horse, right? A man is riding a horse really fast down the road, and another man by the side of the road goes, "Oh my God, he must be going somewhere important. Where are you going?" The man says, "I don't know, ask the horse." So this is what I want us to be mindful of, to remember, what horse are we riding? And who are we letting decide where we go with our energy? Are we just simply letting the horse, take over and take us to places we don't know? Or are we mindfully, with conscious awareness, choosing where we put our attention, where we put our energy, what we want to ripple out into the world? It takes conscious choice. It always comes back to choice. And that's where the little practices, the daily practices come in. I don't think you'll ever hear me speak when I don't come back to daily practices, because this is my story. This is how I transformed my story and how I shifted my perspective. The daily things that I do: meditation, prayer, affirmation, visualization, visioning, poetry, music, creativity, walks in nature, beautiful flowers, photography, whatever it is, cooking, whatever it is for you that fills your soul and reminds you of your connection with the One, that reminds you that you are a divine spark. Whatever it is, it can be anything, but you need to do it, and you need to do it regularly. I say daily. You need to do it because you are building those muscles. Gratitude, my gratitude journal. Oh my God, I have not missed a night in my gratitude journal in over 8 years now. So I'm like half asleep and like, oh my God, I can't go to sleep until like writing my gratitude journal, because it has been transformative for me. And we do these things so that they become muscles we can rely on in difficult times. And there's a lot of days when it doesn't seem like there's much to be grateful for. Most of you know that I experienced a great loss in October, and even on the morning and the night of that day, I wrote in my gratitude journal, and I found things to be grateful for. So there is never a reason not to be grateful. There is always, we are alive, right? We are alive right here, right now. And so there is always something to be grateful for. And when we let go of letting someone else, some other horse, run our story, when we can be totally in the present moment, then we have the opportunity to really show up for others. So Ernest Holmes says, the only time we ever have is now, the immediate moment. The question that naturally arises then is, how wisely are we using it, right? Are we retreating into the memory of the past, daydreaming into the future? We do not want to encumber this eternal moment of ours with vague dreams of tomorrow, nor clutter it up with the refuse of the past. We can neither live in the past nor the future. But the thoughts of the past and the future can so color and contaminate our emotional and mental outlook that our reaction to this moment, each moment we have, will be a thing of despair rather than joy. That's from A New Design for Living. So, how present are you to this moment? I want to ask you right now, in this moment, right here, right now, while we are all sitting here in community together, all is well, right? Is there anybody who is, in this moment, right now, who is not good? I mean, you might have a ton of shit to do later, excuse my language, and you might have had a lousy morning, but right now, right here, hearing this message, being together, everything's okay, right? We're all good.
Yes.
This moment. So that's why mindfulness is so important. That's why coming back to the present moment is so important. Because in this moment, all is well. And when we can come from that energy, we can show up in a way that allows us to see the good in others, in a way that empowers us, in a way that brings us forth as an expression of love. Because we're not coming from a place of worry and anxiety. Right here, right now, all is well. One of my favorite books of all time is called One Breath at a Time by Kevin Griffin. It's a Buddhism and recovery book. And he talks about that you can't breathe in the future and you can't breathe in the past. Every breath is right here, right now. And that's why breathing, that's why meditative practice on breathing is so essential. Because it really brings you to this moment. And like I said, in this moment, all is well. With each breath, if you are breathing, then in that breath, all is well. It doesn't mitigate what you might still have to do or what's happened, but right now. So we're going to do a little practice about that in a while, and we're going to actually come into the moment of the presence of ourselves, in the present moment, and our breath. But I also wanted to share with you, oh look, I'm taking after Reverend Frankie, Science of Mind magazine this month. We don't have any more, but look, I'm starting to do the things she does. So Science of Mind magazine this month, the daily guides are by Eugene Holden, and I just really, really am enjoying them. And there's a quote at the top from this woman, Carolyn Elliott, says, instead of your pain making you feel isolated from other people, you now know how to use it to make yourself feel more connected with them. That is the story of recovery. That is my story, right? I used the pain and the shame and over 30 years of addiction to now help people, to now empower me to be an example, to now reach out and have empathy for people that are struggling. One of the promises of AA is that no matter how far down the scale we have fallen, we will see how our experiences can benefit others. What a beautiful thing. Everyone on a spiritual journey can do that. You don't have to be an AA. You can see how your experiences can benefit others when you shift the story and make it not be about what happened to you or victimhood or anything else, but empower yourself. Empower yourself to see how you can use your experience to benefit others. Because that is who and what we want to be in the world, right? We want to be of service. We want to be expressions of love. How can I help? How can I serve? What can I learn? How can I grow? What is this trying to teach me? These are the questions that we should be asking ourselves at every moment. Every time you have an interaction with somebody and your skin bristles or you get a little annoyed, you should say, what is this person there to teach me? Because it is always about you. It is never about the other person. And in this teaching, we believe that we mirror back to other people the things that we need to learn, right? So in AA, we say, if you spot it, you got it. So if something annoys you about someone else, look within and see where in you might have some of that, or where you might have had it in the past. Maybe it's bringing up old behaviors. But that's our journey, that's our work, to be mindfully aware in the present moment and be willing to learn and grow so that we can reframe our stories to be of the best service in the world and to help create a world that works for everyone. Eugene Holden in the guides says, what you think, say, and do ripples out into the world, like Grayson's beautiful song. When you walk into a room and say hello, your vibration touches people. How cool is that? To embrace this truth is to embrace the reality that you are the infinite presence of the divine, bumping up against all the other infinite beloveds of the divine. I just love that. I want to be that infinite presence bumping up against all of you because I recognize that you are all that infinite presence as well. And so we get to bump up against each other with compassion and love, and we get to be mindful of what energy we bring into the room. You know, when I first started in sobriety, I had a Kundalini yoga teacher that used to come into the room like, ah. The whole room was just sort of like, you know, when she walked into the room, it was like calm and grace. And I was like, oh, I want to be that. That's going to be me. Well, let me tell you, that is never going to be me. But I have come to embrace that what I do bring is enthusiasm. What I do bring is joy. What I do bring is love. I may not be calm. That's not going to be me. But I get to choose the energy that I bring. It used to be negativity. It used to be, you know, when I was in rehab, I think I've shared this here before, but nobody wanted to be around me because I was so negative. Everything was a disaster. Everything was horrible. We get to choose every moment of every day with conscious, mindful awareness what energy we are bringing. Even if you have concerns and worries, you don't have to bring them if you come from a place of interconnection with the divine, if you come from a place of love. So I go to an AA meeting every morning at 7:30. I have for almost 11 years now. And I share on Monday mornings. They have a part where they ask if anybody has joys to share. I have shared a joy every Monday morning for about 8 years now, because at the beginning I was not that positive. But I share about my sacred Sunday, because on most Sundays I'm here. And if I'm not here, I'm doing something for my spiritual life. And so every Monday morning, I share my joy. And they expect it. And there used to be people that would be like, oh God, here goes Lori again. And now those same people say, where's Lori? I need my joy. Where were you yesterday? If I don't go on a Monday morning, it's like, where were you? Because that's the energy that I bring. And it doesn't mean I don't have problems. When I have problems, I share them as well. But I choose to share the joy of how my spirituality uplifts me, of how my spiritual practices bring me into a place of joy. And it inspires people. Let me tell you how many people have reached out to me with comments about my Sacred Sunday and about loving my joys. Even after years of not liking them, they have turned around. I don't think anybody doesn't like them anymore. So we get to choose whether to be that energy in the room or negativity and problem. Not to turn away and do spiritual bypass, but to just make a conscious choice. Is this necessary for me to bring into this room? I want to show up as love. I want to show up as joy. I want to show up as the face of gratitude because I am grateful to be here with all of you. So I invite you all to make a conscious choice today, to come into mindfulness of the ripples that you are creating in the world, and to choose to create a ripple of love, of gratitude, of interconnection, of oneness, of recognizing the divinity in others because you know the divinity within yourself. Let's all tell ourselves this story today. Let's all make this ripple in the consciousness of the world, together as a community. You're with me?
Sure.
Yes. Okay, and now we are blessed to have Grayson and Anna come back up, and they're going to do a song for us that is about a story we all need to be telling ourselves more. Grayson, Anna?
So this is a Karen Drucker song, and it's We Are All Angels. So I had gotten a while back these single angel wings for everyone, just to remind us that we only have one wing and we need each other to fly. And I also did a lot of Reiki on them, so they have some Reiki energy too. So you shall switch with you. Yeah, if that's okay.
Sure.
Yeah, be on this side of you.
Thank you. Beautiful. Wow.
There you go. Yeah. So we are all angels, Karen Drucker. We are all angels who only have one wing. All angels, we're searching for each other. All angels will only reach the sky, 'cause we need each other to fly. Do you know there are angels in our midst? Can you hear them? Can you feel them? They're all around you, with you every day. Do you see them, or do you look the other way? It's that man that I forgot to kiss as I hurried out the door. Oh, that stranger that said hello, that I ignored. They're angels.
They are angels.
We are angels. We are all angels who only have one wing. All angels who are searching for each other. All angels who cannot reach the sky, 'cause we need each other to fly. My life gets so busy, time goes by so fast. I rush through the day trying to make each moment last. When I take the time to look around, I see sweet angels smiling We are all angels who only have one wing. All angels, we're searching for each other. All angels who cannot reach the sky. 'Cause we need each other to fly. We need each other to fly.
Each other to fly.
We need 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 each other.
There we go.
So beautiful. I have my wing. We all need each other to fly. Thank you, Anna and Grayson. That was just amazing. So perfect. Because as we're talking about being mindful of the ripples, we can do it together. We can do it with one wing each. All united together, we can create that ripple. So, we are going to do a meditative practice, but you know me. I cannot let an opportunity go by to not share a poem. So, it is not a poem of mine, but it is one of my favorites. It is a poem called Everything is Waiting for You by David White. And I think it really speaks to being mindful, to being in the moment, and to recognizing the infinite possibilities that are available to us when we really stay present. So I'm going to read it in the style of David White, which means that I'm going to repeat certain lines. So I'm going to repeat the lines that I think are important for this message today. So it's called Everything is Waiting for You. Your great mistake is to act the drama as if you were alone. Your great mistake is to act the drama as if you were alone. As if life were a progressive and cunning crime with no witness to the tiny, hidden transgressions. To feel abandoned is to deny the intimacy of your surroundings. To feel abandoned is to deny the intimacy of your surroundings. Surely, even you, at times, have felt the grand array, the swelling presence, and the chorus crowding out your solo voice. You must note the way the soap dish enables you, or the window latch grants you freedom. Alertness is the hidden discipline of familiarity. Alertness is the hidden discipline of familiarity. The stairs are your mentor of things to come. The doors have always been there to frighten you and invite you, and the tiny speaker in the phone is your dream ladder to divinity. Put down the weight of your aloneness and ease into the conversation. Put down the weight of your aloneness and ease into the conversation. The kettle is singing even as it pours you a drink. The cooking pots have left their arrogant aloofness and seen the good in you at last. All the birds and creatures of the world are unutterably themselves. Everything is waiting for you. Everything is waiting for you. I don't know about you, but that just really stirs my soul. And I am now going to bring us into a meditative practice that is about recognizing that we are always okay in this moment, right here, right now. So if you're comfortable doing so, I invite you to close your eyes. To close your eyes and to just take a breath. Let's take one deep breath together. Breathing in and breathing out. So what we're going to do is we're going to do a breath practice. We're going to bring our mindful awareness to our breath. Because like I said, you can't breathe in the future and you can't breathe in the past. So when we keep our awareness on this breath, we are totally present. And so I invite you to gently place your awareness wherever the breath is most prevalent to you in your body. It might be at the tips of your nostrils as the air comes in and out. It might be in the rising and falling of your chest, or the expanding and contracting of your belly. Wherever that is for you, just gently place your awareness there and become totally present to the breath. Breathing in, know that you are breathing in, and breathing out. Know that you are breathing out. Breathing in, know that you are breathing in, and breathing out. Know that you are breathing out. When you can stay present to your breath, you get grounded in this moment, this breath. Like I said, right here, right now, all is well. So breathe in, knowing you are breathing in, right here, right now, this moment together, and breathe out any sense of separation, anything that wants to take you out of this moment. Just be with your breath. Let's just take a few conscious breaths. Breathing in, know that you are breathing in, and breathing out. Know that you are breathing out. And just remember that you can pause and take a breath at any time. At any time, whatever's going on in your day, in your world, in your life, you can pause and take a breath and just center yourself. Breathing in, I know that I am breathing in, and breathing out. I know that I am breathing out. And right here, right now, in this breath, for this moment, all is well. All is well. Breathing in, know that you are breathing in, and breathing out. Know that you are breathing out. And you can bring mindfulness to anything you do. You can mindfully brush your teeth. You can mindfully take out the garbage. But when you come back to breath, it centers and calms you. And it's something you can do anytime, anywhere. For just a moment, just a breath. Breathing in, know that you are breathing in. And breathing out, know that you are breathing out. And so from this present moment awareness of this breath, I invite us to take a few communal breaths. Let's take a breath as a community, recognizing that we are all breathing the same air. So breathing in as a community, grateful for the fact that we are all supporting each other, that we are each other's wing, and breathing out anything that separates us. And again, let's take a breath in as a community, breathing in and breathing out. One more time. Let's breathe into that wing that we each have and bring out as we join the other wings around us so that we can truly fly. Thank you, Anna and Grayson, for that beautiful, beautiful image, for that beautiful analogy. And let's just make the intention to mindfully bring breath into our daily lives, to practice returning again and again to this moment, to this breath, one breath at a time. And being grateful for the community that we are. And so when you are ready, I invite you to gently open your eyes, come back into the room, and from this place of radical interconnection and gratitude and being in the present moment where we are all together, it is time for our conscious giving. So I'm going to pass the basket. You can fill out an envelope. You can give on Venmo or PayPal. You can go to our website and hit the donate button, which is my preferred way. Reverend Frankie likes to text to give. There are lots of ways you can give. You can also give by signing up for a social hour. Thank you, Jean and Vern, for today's social hour. We have February covered, but we have availability in March and April, so I'm going to pass this. You can give back by sponsoring a social hour. You can also give back by bringing people to the center, by bringing friends, by expanding our community. You can also give back by being of service in so many ways. We have all of these hearts up here for teams to join, so you can be of service by joining a team and getting more involved in the center, because this community is the center. We are the center. And I know we're going through a big transition with Reverend Frankie re-inspiring and everything, but this is why it's even more important to change the story you're telling yourself about that and to step up in a greater way as a community. This is our opportunity to do that. So I have some announcements before I go to the closing treatment and another beautiful original song by Grayson. So after today's celebration, I'm sorry, yes, thank you. Our conscious giving affirmation, thank you, Gail. So while the basket is going around and while some of you are texting to give or whatever, please repeat this affirmation with me. My gift goes forth to bless.
My gift goes forth to bless.
Mindfully, gratefully, and with expectation of greater good. I know that as I give, my good returns to me abundantly. And so I give with joy. And so it is. Okay, now for announcements. Okay, so thank you, Gail. So after today's celebration, after social hour, we have Bill Stone doing a dream interpretation workshop. It is part 2, but I don't believe that you had to be at part 1. You are welcome to stay and attend that, whether you were at the part 1 or not. If you have not gotten your tickets for Reverend Frankie's party, you have to do that. Time is running out. Her party is on March 6th. It's going to be awesome, and you need to get a ticket if you want to attend. So please do not let any more time go by. There's a QR code. There's flyers up here. Also on the 2nd of March, we will be having, which is Reverend Frankie's last Sunday, so you all want to be here. We will be having an annual meeting after the celebration. It will be very short. Reverend Frankie's been saying it will be very short, but we need you all to be here. So I hope to see you all then. Let's see, March 2nd. Yes, March 2nd. Her party is March 6th. the dream interpretation. And we have a workshop coming up on Sunday the 23rd with Judy Calhoun, who is a friend of Reverend Frankie's, who wrote a book. She's going to be doing a presentation and a book signing. And there are other flyers over here. Let's see. I think that's it. I think that's it for the flyers and announcements. And so I invite you all to stay for a fabulous social hour, to stay for the workshop after, and to just really celebrate being a part of this community. So we are going to close, as we always do, with a spiritual mind treatment or an affirmative prayer. And then Grayson is going to bless us with another beautiful original song. So I invite you once again, if you're comfortable doing so, to close your eyes and to hear these words as if they were your own. So in that power of love, of mindful awareness, I know the truth. And the truth is that I am a divine spark of the One. As is each one here, as is each one watching, listening, each one in the world, we are all radically interconnected by our consciousness, by our truth, by the divinity within. And so right here, right now, I affirm that we have all been empowered, uplifted, and that our expansion of our consciousness by this celebration today, to go forth mindfully and be that ripple of love, to be that ripple of good, to show up in our world, no matter how difficult, as that energy of loving presence, because that is the truth of who and what we are. That is how we want to show up in the world. And so I know that each one here does that we take the time to pause and come back to our breath and be present in the moment where right here, right now, all is well. All manner of things are well, and all is well. And so with deep gratitude for this time together, for this community, for this teaching, for Reverend Frankie, and for each one of you, I simply say thank you. And I release this word into that law that I know is ever present and that is operating on my thoughts and beliefs. And so I simply let it go with gratitude, with grace. And I invite you to join me in saying, and so it is. Thank you for letting me be of service. And now we have Grayson.
Thank you, Lori. That was beautiful, beautiful, beautiful. You have such great words and such great energy, as you explained earlier. I'm just going to retune real quick while I talk about this song. So this song is called Count on God, and it was a little bit, it was a freestyle actually. So I came up with the chords, and then I just put my recorder on my iPhone, and just played it. And then I transcribed it onto some paper so I could remember it, and here we are. So it's a bit of a fun song. It's upbeat. I figured we would finish today with, an upbeat, joyful song. And yeah, it's just about how we can count on God for everything and how He provides, and divine love provides for all of us. Well, I was riding down the street in my new car, and I looked up at the stars, and they started singing to me. But the stars, they said to me, they said, you don't have to worry, just let it be. So I followed them to the trees above. Well, I was walking down the street, and I looked up, and I saw a man. He was in love, he was down on one knee. I don't want you, but I want you. I don't want you, but I want you. I don't want you, but I want you. 'Cause I need God in my life, 'cause He's the man that's right for me, and no other man can be. she didn't even wait for him to stand up. She said, well, God's the one for me. Can't you see he's for me? Can't you see he's for me? Can't you see he's for me? God's the one. Well, I looked up and I saw someone who was struggling. He said to me, well, I got nothing. Have you got some change for me? I said I do. I have a lot of change and I think we use